Shalom from Jerusalem. My name is Albert Wexler. I'm the director of Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast. And we are here in the Friends of Zion Museum together with Knesset member Ohad Tal. Ohad, really joy to have you here. Of course, I wish that the circumstances would have been different. You have been traveling with us quite a bit now with Jerusalem Prayer Breakfast. You were with us in Australia latest, in Gold Coast, and then prior to that in Houston,
Texas.
And you are a wonderful speaker. Of course, your love for Jerusalem and ability to communicate is something exceptional.
Thank you
so
very
I'm
much.
Very happy to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you, Albert.
Now we are here. I saw a video clip yesterday when you walked out of the plenum, Knesset plenum, where you were shown a horrible video about what had happened on 7th of October.
Yes, it's hard to even find the words to describe what we saw. It's hard to describe what actually happened on October 7 in the southern area of Israel. I think that a normal person who lives in the world today cannot even comprehend that today there is such a pure evil exists. I mean, the things that we've saw, it's hard even to describe. Parents being slaughtered in front of their kids, babies being burned, women and little girls are being raped time and time again in front of their husbands and their kids, and then all being slaughtered. Things a normal person cannot understand, cannot believe that this is something really happened. And the craziest thing is that all these videos were taken by the Hamas people. They all came with GoPro cameras on themselves, and they were laughing while they're doing it, opening the fridge at the homes of these people, taking a Coca-Cola, drinking while doing it, as if it's normal. We are facing an organization which is worse than the Nazis. Worse than the Nazis. And I think the world should know about it. We all should realize it, because if we will not realize it, we will not be able to give the right answers to that. And I think also the world should understand that this war right now it's not just the war of Israel against Hamas. This is the war of the good against evil. We are fighting the war of the free world. And if we will not win, God forbid, if we will not win this war, everyone will meet that. Everyone will meet this reality at their backyard.
Well, it is absolutely impossible to think that we could live side by side with an organization like Hamas. It is impossible to imagine a thing, but isn't it horrible to see how many people stood up for Hamas all over the world? 100,000 people in London, and this happened before the land incursion started. So they were not protesting Israeli army's incursion into Gaza. They were celebrating Hamas, quote unquote, victory.
You're right, and this is why I'm saying, every Western country which will not realize the threat, which will not realize that they need to support Israel right now, because if not, they will meet the same reality. They will meet in London, they will meet in Paris, they will meet it in America, they will meet it everywhere in the world, because radical Islam, they don't care just about Israel. We are just the front of the free world in the Middle East. But they will meet this reality everywhere. And this is why the whole free world should realize it and stand these days with Israel, firmly supporting our effort to defeat this evil, to defeat this darkness. Before you'll meet it in Europe and in America and in Australia and elsewhere.
Because what starts with the Jews never ends with the Jews.
Never ends with the Jews. Never.
And we have the horrible lessons, of course, from the Second World War.
Right.
And you have to really take seriously what your enemy is declaring. And they have not felt ashamed, or they are proud of it.
They're proud of it.
They're saying they will do it again.
And we're seeing, again, by the way, already now, we're seeing in Germany, in London, in France, we're seeing the fact that radical Muslims are saying on camera, we will be the majority here in these countries. We will apply Sharia rules in your countries. We will make Europe Muslim. They're saying it loud and clear. We have to believe their statements. They're not lying. These are their intentions. We have to believe that, and we have to fight it.
And so strong Israel is the answer to stop this evil from spreading all over the world. And I think it is so important for our viewers also to know that there will come a day after the war. Israel will win. We are like a wounded lion now, but this lion is roaring, and Israel will not stop. And you know it from the Bible. Israel is forever. The sun and moon and stars will lose its power and shine before that Israel ceases to be a nation before God. But thinking of the day after, what would you say? I mean, can we ask our friends to come and help build up the communities? You saw them destroyed. You saw the extent of their destruction. Maybe we can ask our friends to come and help us build them up.
First of all, of course we will need help with building these communities who were burned, who were destroyed, who were, of course, whole families which were slaughtered and wiped out from the face of the planet. And of course we will need as much support as we can get to rebuild these places. But I think also I want to say a word also about our enemy in Hamas, in Gaza. People have to realize, I mean, we're seeing numbers of casualties in Gaza right now. Of course, numbers which we're all getting from them, from the Palestinians. And of course, I must say that we have to take that with a lot of doubt because we already have seen that how are they lying, how they're producing propaganda showing as if we are shooting hospitals, even though they were the people to shoot. We are not shooting hospitals. We are not shooting innocent civilians. Time and time again, we're asking all the civilians of Gaza to go back, to move themselves away from Hamas, to go to the southern area in which we're supplying water and aid and food and humanitarian assistance. So we are trying to differentiate between the society and Hamas. But they are the people to hold families, to shoot people if they're daring to move south, if they're daring to evacuate.
Hold them at gunpoint.
Exactly. So we have to realize what we are facing. But one thing we have to realize also, Hamas doesn't care about how many buildings will fall in Gaza. They don't care about how many people will die. They don't care about all these things. The only thing they care about is sending the Jews away from the face of the planet. This is what they care about.
They declared it openly.
Of course. And the only way we can achieve victory is by the fact that the day after, they will realize they lost. They will pay with a price, which is not just the casualties, which is not just the houses which fell, but also price with land. I think Israel should go back at least to some sections of the Gaza Strip, apply sovereignty in these areas, and settle the place with Jews. Jews should go back to Gaza. this is what should happen. And I hope that the world will realize it, and I hope that the world will support us by doing that.
Well, I think the whole story of disengagement from Gaza was so painful. I was standing with others, holding hands on the road number 1, Highway 1, to protest this disengagement. And what a catastrophe it was. I mean, the Jewish people had to force Jewish people out of this place, and there was no peace. There was no, prosperity coming to this Gaza Strip. There was the opposite.
And they could do that. They could do that. I mean, billions of dollars went into the Gaza Strip since the disengagement. They could make Gaza the Singapore of the Middle East. They didn't do that. No. They choose to take this money to invest it in terror.
Underground,
to build tunnels and to purchase missiles and weaponry. This is what they did. Instead of building hospitals, instead of building hotels and create tourism and to make Gaza a Singapore of the Middle East, they chose terror. And the only answer we can give to that is by taking land from them and building there and settling Jews in those places.
Because there will be no vacuum, that's for sure.
Right.
The vacuum will be filled with something, and it happened very, very quickly. In the Gaza Strip, the Palestinian Authority was not able to stand against the Hamas militants, terrorists really. Already then they shot them in the knees and kicked them off the high-rise buildings, and that was the end of PLO.
You're right, but I have to also remind ourselves that part of us waking up is also realizing that the Palestinian Authority is not an answer to what we are seeing now, because I want to remind us, Palestinian Authority today paying money to jihadists who killed Jews. And as much as you kill more, you get more salary from the Palestinian Authority. They're paying money. They're supporting terror loud and clear. So they cannot be the answer to what is going to be in Gaza in the day after. We'll have to come up with a better idea, an entity which maybe doesn't exist right now. But we'll have to create it. Something new that will break all the concepts that we used till today.
Well, what is the worst part of that story is that it is a taxpayer money that is coming from Europe, that is coming from United States of America. I mean, peaceful, people, citizens have been supplying money for the bloody terrorists.
Donations from all over the world, billions of dollars in recent years,
and
all went to terror.
And of course, I mean, if you look at Ismail Haniyeh being worth $5 billion.
Of course. And he doesn't live in Gaza.
No.
Of course
he has
not.
all the leadership is now in Doha, in Qatar, and they are telling the Gazans to stand firm.
Right, exactly. That is the joke. It's only express what is the value of human life in their eyes.
Cynical.
Not even their own.
No. But again, I'm also thinking about Qatar. I mean, this is a small nation, 300,000 people, but a huge U.S. military base in there. But they are a state that is supporting terrorism.
Supporting terror, exactly. They are the biggest funders of Hamas. Again, this is something we have to realize. I think, in Israel, we're saying that we have to wake up. For many years, we wanted to believe that if we will give them more money, if we will allow them to work and to make money and to prosper financially, that will bring peace because they will have something to lose. They would not want to lose it, and they will be peaceful. Well, it's not happening. It's not happening. I think we're now realizing when you're facing a radical Islamic jihadist, they don't want money. They want to destroy everything which is not radical Islam.
And they're happy if you give them money, of course. Also.
Right. So, and of course, we have to realize that Qatar is part of it. All those countries who are supporting Hamas, all those countries who are standing with them, they are part of the enemy. And I think the whole world, not just Israel, I mean, Israel is now waking up, but I think the whole world should wake up and realize the reality.
Now, I think it is also coming in a bigger picture of the Saudi normalization talks. Prime Minister Netanyahu was very optimistic about coming to a major breakthrough with Saudi Arabia. And of course, it had its economic side. I think Saudis were thinking of having their oil flow through Israeli pipelines to Europe. I don't know what was on the table from Israeli side. What was the government offering to the Saudis?
I think that the question of the agreement with the Saudis is not just financial aspects. It's mainly the Saudis, by the way, not just the Saudis, all the countries of the Abraham Accords are realizing that, and you spoke about Qatar, but of course the elephant in the room, it's not just Qatar. We know who is the head of this whole thing, and that is Iran. And the Saudis realizing it, and the Emirates are realizing it, and a lot of countries in the Middle East today realizing that the threat to the peace of the world, and of course the threat to the peace in the Middle East, it's Iran. Iran wants to destroy the Middle East. Iran wants to destroy the world. And Israel is just the beginning. They're realizing it, and this is why it's so important for them to continue with the peace process with Israel. Mm-hmm. Because they understand that the only country who stands against this evil is Israel. Mm-hmm. The only country who will make sure that Iran will not be able to achieve its goal to get a nuclear weapon is Israel. And because they're realizing it, this is why all these countries today also are standing with Israel. I mean, make no mistake, the fact that they are not, even though they're all Arab countries, but they're standing with Israel. They're saying what they have to say in order, to make, you can't say out loud and clear that you're not supporting the Palestinians. But if you see what they're actually doing, I mean, and by the way, we saw just this week that in the Emirates, one of the top people in the administration of the Emirates said loud and clear, said, we are standing with Israel. Israel is here to stay. The Jews are originally from this land, and they should stay in this land. They should not go back to Europe or to other countries. They're originally from here. They were sent away from here, and they came back to their homeland. And that came
Emirates.
From the Emirates this week during the war with the Palestinians. So I think there's a lot of countries who are starting to wake up, realizing the threats, realizing what is happening here, and acting upon it. And I hope the whole world will join them.
So imagine if Israel would become this energy hub, with oil and gas, flowing through us to Europe, for example. And of course, Russia and Iran wouldn't be happy about it because they have to send their ships through Suez Canal, right, which costs like $500,000 or even more per ship. So maybe there was also the economical side that maybe...
Of course, it's also part of it. And you see that Russia, unfortunately, is standing with the Palestinians right now, standing with Iran. Their alliance is getting stronger. And of course, I think this is why we have to realize that it's a front. This is a front of the Western world and the countries who want the good to rule the world against those countries, which unfortunately wants the darkness to overcome.
So we talk about a war of free world against dictatorships and Islamic terror. That's basically what we are seeing. It's like a clear dividing line. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Now, what would you say? I mean, you have been with us, of course, in Houston, in Gold Coast, in Australia. You've seen our friends from different nations.
Right.
What would you tell them? What is your message to our allies as a Knesset member?
So I can tell you that even just today, I had a meeting with the ambassador of Guatemala, which is also, they're very good friends of us, very evangelical country, and they're also standing with us even today, even though in Latin America, not many countries are standing with us. Guatemala is standing with us very proudly. We saw just also last week, their foreign minister in the UN stood with Israel very vocally, and this is something we appreciate a lot. All our friends throughout the world who are standing with us today in those difficult days, in these difficult times, and they're standing with us. We send them our love. We appreciate that. We do not take that for granted. And I think that the fact that you know, it's always it's very nice to be with Israel when Israel is strong, when Israel is winning. But of course, we have to admit that these days are hard in Israel. These days are difficult, and the fact that all these people supporting us and standing with us in those difficult times is something we will not forget. It's something we will remember. It's something we appreciate a lot, and we hope it will only grow more and more.
There was one pastor in New Zealand, maybe you remember him, his name is Nigel Woodley. So he has been standing with Israel for years. So they have been doing some demonstrations in Auckland and in their city where he is from. And so I was so happy just by the fact that we were there in Gold Coast and could hear him speak about his work in support of Israel during this time. And many, many others. I mean,
Right.
there's so many people that are watching us, and we're just so thankful that you are taking the Israeli flag to the public places, taking Israeli flag to the parliament buildings. There are many, you know, who have taken a very bold stand
Right.
as Christians
Right.
in their parliaments, in their legislatures, and also in the media world, Twitter, Instagram, whichever media platform you use, support Israel and stand with our hostages. They need to be freed. There was a miracle with Ori Megiddish, that she was the first one that was freed now.
Right. It shows the bravery also of the Israeli soldiers who went inside into Gaza and sent her free, fighting and killing a lot of terrorists who were trying to prevent us from doing that. And that proves the Israeli spirit. As President Biden said himself, that when he met with the Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir many years ago when he was a young senator, she told him, you know, Mr. Senator, we're going to win. You know why? You know what is the secret weapon of Israel? We just don't have anywhere else to go. We don't have a choice. We have to win. We have to win because we don't have anywhere else to go. And we will win, no doubt about it.
And of course, you, as an Orthodox Jew, know that there is a covenant that God Almighty, God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has cut with the people of Israel, and you are a very strong representation of that covenant. As a family,
I must tell you, because you brought it up. There's a story in the Talmud, a section in the Talmud which says that at the end of days, the king of the Persians will go to the king of the Arabs and try to make a fight with him. And then the whole world will fight, will come to around the state of Israel, the Jewish state, and will try to conquer it. And the Jews will be scared and try to run all directions, saying, God help us, God help us. And God will come and tell them, my children, why are you so scared? I haven't done anything from that just to help you, just to support you, just to bring you the redemption. So, and this is something from the Talmud written thousands of years ago. And I think we're starting to see the fulfillment of this prophecy that the Persian king, of course, this is Iran. And they're trying to fight with the Arab king, which is, of course, the Saudis and all the Arab countries. And they're all coming around Israel. And we saw that the Americans and the British all send worships into this area. And the whole world, and you spoke of Russia and other countries, all surrounding us from all sides. And the end of it will be the fact that the Jews, Israel will win, and hopefully that will be the redemption, also bring us the Geula Shlema.
The redemption.
The redemption.
Yeah. Well, I'm so thankful that you came to speak. And I mean, I would love to hear. We need to take time. Maybe you can book something to hear you speak about Jerusalem, the Temple Mount, the old city, because you're an expert in these fields. And I want to hear about your family, how you are standing in this difficult time. But we are so thankful for all of you who have been watching us today. We're so thankful that you tuned in. And please remember, every day, 1 o'clock Jerusalem time, we are here to give answers for our allies. We're so thankful for your prayers, for your support, and we declare those who pray for the peace of Jerusalem will prosper, and those who bless the seed of Abraham will be blessed. And shalom from Jerusalem.